All right, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, and welcome to episode number 68 of the WMMA Scene Report weekly show where we go over just about everything going on in the world of the women's divisions of mixed martial arts. Tonight, we'll be talking about two topics. First, inappropriate relationships in the gym. Don't get involved in them. And then we're going to talk about, fan contradictions when it comes to certain fights and certain fighters. But first, let's start where we always start with reviews. So first up, we're going to UFC 251. First fight was at a catch weight of 141. Carol Hossa defeated Vanessa Mello via unanimous decision. Hossa moved to 13-3. Mello fell to 10-8. Hossa, nice job using her reach. Mello had a hard time dealing with it. Mello was kind of able to turn the tide in the third round, landed a heavy punch that had Hossa on the ropes a bit, but just it wasn't enough to convince the judges otherwise. Next up, going up to the main card, Amanda Ribas defeated Paige Van Zant via armbar submission at 2 minutes 21 seconds of the first round. Ribas climbed to 10-1. Van Zant fell to 8-5. Yeah, I think just about everybody predicted that Ribas would win. I certainly did. It's whatever, Not much to really say about it. It was over too fast. And then last on that event at strawweight, Rose Namajunas defeated Jessica Andrade via split decision. Namajunas climbed to 9-4. Andrade fell to 20-8. Namajunas got by. She scraped by in this fight. She was in trouble in that third round. Very nice display in the first two rounds, mostly a repeat of what she did in the first fight. Andrade, to me, I thought she showed a lot more improvement than Namajunas did, a lot more changes. Better head movement, period. Anyway, I did a full review on that fight. If you'd like, you can go check that out. Moving along to Wednesday night. I forgot to mention these fights last week. First up at flyweight, Liana Jojua defeated Diana Belbita via submission due to armbar at 2 minutes 23 seconds of the first round. Jojua climbed to 8-3. Belbita fell to 13-6. Jojua still needs to work on her striking. For what little time it was on the feet, she was getting handled there. Belbita made a huge mistake in taking her down. And from there, Jojua worked for the armbar, latched it on, and refused to let go of it completely. She made adjustments when necessary to get the armbar. Nice display on the ground there by Liana Jojua. And then up on the main card, Taila Santos defeated Molly McCann via unanimous decision. Santos climbed to 16-1. McCann fell to 10-3. So huge improvement from Santos' first fight when she lost to Mara Romero Barella to what we saw Wednesday, where she just controlled every aspect of the fight. I mean, McCann was completely shut down no matter where the fight went. And McCann had been showing a lot of improvement in her recent fights, and then she came in against Santos, and Santos just blew her away. Very nice performance by Taila Santos. All right, so that was it for the past week's fights. So let's get down into the news. So first up, for UFC on September 26th, scheduled a bantamweight fight between Jessica Rose Clark, 9-6, and Sarah Alpar, 9-4. And then we have a couple of date changes in the UFC. First up, Nico Montano versus Julia Avila, a bantamweight fight scheduled for August 8th, is now scheduled for September 5th. And then another bantamweight bout between Ketlin Vieira and Yana Kunitskaya was moved from August 1st to August 8th, so that one got moved back a week. Next up, another fight announcement out of the UFC. For September 5th, a flyweight bout between Montana De La Rosa, coming in 11-5, taking on Marina Moroz, coming in 10-3. I think that one's going to be very intriguing. Got to give Moroz, the advantage in the stand-up. On the ground, I think, is where it'll get more interesting. There, very much looking forward to that one. Moroz seemingly a changed fighter at 125 from moving up from strawweight. Up next in the news, Aries FC has signed French national wrestling champion and national judo champion Laetitia Blott to make her MMA debut with them. So very interesting signee for Aries FC there, the French African promotion that, they held their first several events in Africa, but it seems like they must be under French ownership because they're signing all these French fighters. And now that MMA is legal in France, seems like that's going to be their new home. So they're signing up all these French athletes. Very interesting signing there. Both a national wrestling and national judo champion. I'm excited to see what she does. Next up, some One Championship news. They're finally back. No Surrender on July 31st in Bangkok. They're going to have a strawweight bout between Stamp Fairtex coming in 4-0 and Sunisa Sreesan 3-0. Both Thai fighters, both coming in from Thailand, both undefeated. I haven't really seen any of Sunisa Sreesan's fights though. Definitely got to go with Stamp on that one. Next up, some unfortunate news. Stephanie Geltmacher is out of her Invicta 41 flyweight co-main event against Erin Blanchfield due to injury. Replacing Geltmacher against Blanchfield is going to be Brogan Sanchez. Nice replacement there by Invicta. I don't think Sanchez has fought in about a year, but still very nice replacement. Almost a step up in competition for Blanchfield. Up next, UFC, August 29th, booked a strawweight bout between Mallory Martin, 6-3, taking on Hannah Cifers, 10-6. Man, Cifers is like, everyone's talking about Angela Hill taking all these fights in short succession. Hannah Cifers is giving her a run for her money, at least as far as taking the fights goes. Definitely Cifers stepping up a lot on relatively short notice. This one's not so much short notice. It's about over a month and a half away, but still, kudos to Hannah Cifers taking all these fights. And then UAE Warriors is back. UAE Warriors 12, July 31st in Abu Dhabi. It's going to have a flyweight bout between Manon Fiorot, 2-1, and Corinne Laframboise, 5-3. I don't know too much about either of these fighters, so can't really say anything. And then finally, on UFC, September 5th, another bout announcement for that one. Mayra Bueno Silva, 6-1, taking on Mara Romero Barella, 12-8. And if I didn't mention it, that's in the flyweight division. So that's 3 bouts now scheduled for that one event on the 5th of September. Very nice to see. Okay, so that is it for the news. So moving along to the weekly rankings updates. Once again, One Championship. They got the rankings, but they haven't changed them because they're just now getting back to putting on events. For the UFC, there's some changes here. Starting at the strawweight division, Rose Namajunas moved up 1 spot to number 1, replacing Jessica Andrade, who moved down to number 2. Makes sense. Rose just beat Andrade. And then Joanna Jędrzejczyk moved from number 4 to being tied at number 3 with Tatiana Suarez. Now, I've given my opinion. Suarez shouldn't even be ranked right now. She hasn't fought in over a year. There's no timeline for return. And then you have Ansarov at number 5. Also, shouldn't even be ranked right now. Now, here's the weird one. And I'm going to get some flack for this. Amanda Hebos moved up 2 spots from 14 to 12, moving Grasso from 12 to 13 and Hill from 13 to 14. Why is Hebos moving up 2 spots in the rankings when she hasn't even fought in the division recently? Her last fight was at flyweight. Now you're going to say, but Chuck, she moved up the division to beat an opponent. Yes, she beat an opponent that she was massively favored against. Massively favored against. Not that impressive of a win, okay? Everyone was shitting all over PBZ the entire week leading up to that fight, and now everyone wants to act like that's an impressive win. I'm sorry, that is not worth moving up 2 spots in the rankings. And I'm going to get more on that subject later. Not just the rankings, but what everyone was saying about that fight. No changes in the flyweight division, and no changes in bantamweight either. So that is it for your weekly rankings updates. So, keeping everything moving. This weekend, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 different MMA events featuring ladies' fights. Yes, this sport is truly coming back. First up, Friday night on UFC Fight Pass, Legacy Fighting Alliance 85, main event strawweight championship, vacant strawweight title. Sam Hughes 4-0 taking on Vanessa Demopoulos 4-1. Let's take a look at this fight. Obviously Hughes undefeated, Demopoulos on a 3-fight win streak. Don't have an age for Sam Hughes. Demopoulos is 31. Hughes is the taller fighter, 5 feet 5 inches, 165 centimeters, to Demopoulos' 5 feet 1 inch, 155 centimeters. Hughes also has a reach advantage, 64.5 inches, 164 centimeters, to Demopoulos' 62 inches, 157 centimeters. I haven't watched a whole lot of footage of these two, so I'm just throwing this out there. I'm favoring Hughes to win this fight, but I don't have a dog in this one. Next up, Saturday morning. This is going to be early Saturday if you're in the U.S. ARC number 2 in Korea. Also going to have a strawweight bout. Jisoo Park coming in 1-0, taking on Yujin Shin, also 1-0. Both are coming off successful pro debuts. I don't have any stats available on Tapology for these two. Park is definitely the older fighter. She's 22, 25, somewhere around that area. Yujin Shin is only 15 or 16, so she's a teenager. What I can tell you about these two, Jisoo Park won her debut in like 25 seconds via TKO. Shin took her fellow teenager opponent to a decision. Having watched both of those fights. Now, granted, there's not a whole lot to watch for Park, but I generally don't favor teenagers to beat adults in fights, especially one as young as Shin is. So I'm going with Jisoo Park to win this one. And that's at ARC, where the rounds are only 3 minutes and they have limited ground time as well. Okay, moving along. Also on Saturday night is UFC Benavidez versus Figueiredo 2. There is one ladies bout. Ariana Lipski taking on Luana Carolina in the flyweight division. Lipski coming in 12-5. Carolina coming in 6-1. Let's see. Lipski coming off a win over Isabella de Padua 7 months ago. Before that, had lost both of her previous UFC fights. Carolina coming in off a successful pro debut against Priscilla Cachoeira. Carolina is the older fighter, 27-26. They stand the same height, 5 feet 6 inches, 168 centimeters. However, Carolina has a 2-inch reach advantage, 69 inches, 175 centimeters, to Lipski's 67 inches, 170 centimeters. So here you have two fighters who tend to do their best work at range, particularly Carolina. Where they differ, though, is that Carolina does not like to fight in the pocket, whereas Lipski will get in the pocket with you and fight. Neither of them have a very particularly good ground game. Neither of them very good there. I'm not very hyped on either of these two fighters. I don't think either of them are really UFC level. I got to go with the violence queen, though. She's more willing to take the fight into different areas than Carolina is. Carolina just wants to stay out there and fight at range, at length, whereas Lipski is willing to take it in and go into pocket and fight. Whereas if Carolina gets in there, she just starts like throwing arm punches and kind of like panicking, trying to get back out to fight in that range. I'm going with Lipski on this one, but this is another one where it's like, no matter who wins or loses, I don't see much to favor in either of them. So, what have you. Also, I forgot, on Friday night is going to be Lux 9 down in Mexico. They have a strawweight bout. It is the first quarterfinal of their strawweight tournament. Yahiro Romo taking on Sarai Orozco. Romo coming in 6-4. Orozco coming in 4-4. Both are coming off a loss in their most recent fights. Romo to Yasmin Waragui. in Combate Americas, Orozco to Silvana Gomez Juarez, also in Combate Americas, both around the same time period. Let's see, they're coming in the same height, 5 feet 5 inches, 165 centimeters. Romo has 1 inch of reach on Orozco, 66 inches, 168 centimeters, to Orozco, 65 inches, 165 centimeters. This is another one. I don't really have a dog in this one, but it is my duty to keep you guys informed of these fights, and it is for a tournament that's going to the vacant strawweight championship. Flip a coin. We'll go with Romo. I think she's been in there with... she has better wins over better opponents than Orozco does. Is that all of them? Oh, one more. Brave 35 on Monday. Brave Combat Federation has a flyweight bout between Malin Hermansen, coming in 4-1. She's taking on Anna Maria Pal, 2-3. Let's see. They both the same height, 5 feet 5 inches, 165 centimeters. And, Hermansen has a slight, ever so slight reach advantage of about an inch. 66.5 inches, 169 centimeters to Pal's 65.7 inches, 167 centimeters. This is another one. I don't have a dog in this one. Just want to keep you guys informed. So I'm not making a pick on this one. But we'll keep an eye on it. Going to try to watch that, at least on a replay. I think you can watch Brave on Fight TV if you want. Okay, so those are the fights coming up this weekend. So tonight I wanted to talk about two topics. First up, you can see from the thumbnail up there, the little picture of Joanne Calderwood and John Wood, who is the head coach at Syndicate MMA. I wanted to talk about inappropriate relationships in the gym. Okay? It is my opinion that coaches should not be sticking their wicks in female fighters, and female fighters should not be dating their male coaches, and vice versa. Female coaches shouldn't be dating male fighters shouldn't be dating female coaches, whatever, what have you. None of these relationships are appropriate in a professional environment, and a gym is a professional environment. And the biggest reason why is it can cause a lot of friction within that gym, and it also results in a lot of favoritism being shown in the gym. Okay, the example I'm giving here is, John Wood and Joanne Calderwood. John Wood is, from what I understand, the head coach at Syndicate MMA. When the other ladies that fight out of Syndicate MMA give credit to their coaches, it's John Wood. He has helped transform Roxanne Modafferi. Joanne Calderwood has improved under him. So he's done a lot of good for the ladies at his gym. However, there's also caused some friction by him dating Joanne Calderwood. It didn't take long. Like, Joanne Calderwood is relatively recent transplant to Syndicate compared to some of the other ladies there. Like Roxanne Modafferi was definitely there longer. Jessica Rose Clark was already there when Calderwood moved in. And within I think it was less than a month of Calderwood arriving there, her and John Wood jumped into bed together. And while she gave other reasons for why she left Syndicate MMA, and she admits that there are other reasons, Jessica Rose Clark said that, as soon as those two started dating, the environment in the gym definitely changed. So again, that's some friction, creating some friction in the gym because of this relationship. Also, here's another example. Roxanne Modafferi. She went from beating Macy Barber and Antonina Shevchenko before that. She was up to number 5 or 6 in the division. And she went and called out and accepted a fight with Lauren Murphy, who was ranked below her in the division. Why wasn't she trying to move for a title fight? She had the storyline moved up. I'll tell you why. Because Joanne Calderwood is ranked above her, trying to go for a title shot herself. So you have Modafferi, who, yes, she is too nice for her own good, basically putting her own chances, her own aspirations on hold for Joanne Calderwood. Because, one, she's too nice for her own good, and she became friends with Calderwood, but also, you gotta think she does not want to create any more friction in the gym between herself and John Wood, because John Wood is sticking his wood in Calderwood. So here you have a relationship in the gym that is not only helping to cause one fighter to leave, you got another fighter who is putting her aspirations on hold, her last chance to make decent money in her career, because she's 37 years old, Modafferi is, putting her aspirations on hold because you're sticking your wick in one of your female fighters. That is inappropriate. Inappropriate. Totally inappropriate. Coaches, find dates outside the freaking gym. I don't want to hear, well, I spend all my time in the gym. That's bullshit. Tinder, okay? Get on Tinder, get on Bumble, get on Match.com, eHarmony. There's other ways to date than dating your female fighters. Female fighters, don't date your coaches, okay? Again, find someone outside the gym. It's not that hard. You're a female. It's a lot easier for females to find dates than it is for males. I might get hate for that, but it's true. So inappropriate relationships, don't get involved in them. And then I also want to talk about fan attitudes and fan contradictions. So this is related to PVZ versus Amanda Hebos. Leading up to this fight, Amanda Hebos was a huge favorite going into this fight. And everybody was just piling on PVZ, whether it's on social media, on internet forums, what have you. Everyone was just making fun of PVZ, saying, well, she's only a part-time fighter, or she's only a half a fighter, or she's not a real fighter. Then the fight comes along. Hebos is hugely favorited in both the betting lines and, on the polls and everything else. Hebos gets an easy win. Suddenly everyone's like, oh my gosh, Amanda Hebos, she's so great. She's the future, blah, blah, blah. Yes, some people were saying that before the fight happened. But then they got even worse with it after the fight happened, acting like she just got such a great win. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I thought PVZ is only a part-time fighter. I thought she's not a real fighter. I thought she's only half a fighter. I thought she sucks. I thought she's just a social media queen masquerading as a fighter. If that's all she is, and that's all you're still saying she is, then why are you acting as if Amanda Hebos just got this huge win? It should have been expected. It was expected that she'd win. So why are you giving her so much credit if her opponent was supposed to be garbage? It's a contradiction here. You can't say one fighter is trash and then suddenly go, well, this fighter just beat her is so phenomenal for beating her. No, it doesn't work like that. All you're doing by trashing the one fighter, all you're doing is taking away the value of the win that the fighter you like has against her. So stop trashing fighters if you want to give the fighter that beats them so much credit. It's just nonsensical. I can't stand it. And that's one thing, man, you want to see a bunch of morons, just go on MMA Twitter. You see all kinds of crap like this. Anyway, those are my thoughts on, fan attitudes and fan contradictions. And that's all I have for tonight. So let me know your thoughts on just about anything I just discussed in the comments down below. Of course, if you like the video, give it a like and share it on social media, because spread the word. That's how more people get to see it. So like, comment, and hey, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to WMMA now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.